February 11th, 1990, Victor Verster Prison, South Africa. Nelson Mandela stands just inside the prison gates, adjusting his jacket, feeling sunlight on his face for the first time in 27 years. His steps are slow, not from weakness, but from restraint. Around him, cameras wait, crowds gather, the world holds its breath. This moment has been imagined for decades, yet Mandela's mind is not on celebration. It is on control. He understands that what he feels next will shape the fate of a nation. As he walks forward, Mandela feels anger rising like an old familiar companion. Years in a cell no wider than a man's reach. Forced labor in limestone quarries that burned his eyes and lungs. Letters censored, family visits denied, friends dying without goodbye. The system that did this to him has not collapsed yet. Apartheid still stands, armed and afraid. Mandela knows revenge would be easy, natural even. But easy choices do not build countries. South Africa in 1990 is a powder keg. Decades of racial violence have left wounds on every side. The ruling white minority fears annihilation. The black majority carries justified rage. Civil war feels close enough to touch. Mandela understands this better than anyone because prison has taught him how hatred behaves when it is fed. Inside his cell, Mandela learned patience not as surrender, but as discipline. He studied his jailers, their fears, their habits, their language. He learned Afrikaans not to please them, but to understand them. He came to believe that the enemy is not a person but a system, and systems collapse when deprived of legitimacy, not soaked in blood. When Mandela steps into freedom, he does not raise a fist. He raises a hand in greeting. He speaks of reconciliation, not punishment. Many of his own supporters are stunned. Some are angry, they expected justice to look like revenge. Mandela sees further ahead. He knows a country cannot be healed by turning victims into executioners. During negotiations, Mandela listens more than he speaks. He reassures white leaders that they will not be hunted. He tells black leaders that dignity does not require humiliation of the other side. He carries the memory of prison into every room, reminding himself that anger once owned him, and he refuses to be owned again. In 1994, when Mandela becomes president, he invites his former jailers to his inauguration. The gesture is deliberate, unsettling, powerful. He wears the Springbok rugby jersey, once a symbol of white dominance, turning it into a shared identity. These are not symbolic acts, they are strategic ones. Mandela is dismantling revenge before it can organize. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission follows not to erase crimes, but to expose them to light. Mandela believes truth weakens hatred more effectively than executions ever could. The world watches, expecting chaos, but instead witnesses restraint chosen again and again. Mandela does not forgive because he forgets. He forgives because he remembers too well what hatred does to the soul. He once said that resentment is like drinking poison and hoping it kills your enemy. South Africa survives because its leader chose not to drink. As Mandela leaves office years later, he walks away quietly. The work unfinished, but the direction set. He has proven that power does not come from settling scores, but from refusing to let the past dictate the future. In rejecting revenge, Nelson Mandela turned survival into strategy and mercy into a weapon stronger than fear.